Hi guys, welcome to Holy Yoga today. Happy Holy Saturday. If you have not already, I have a special playlist for us today, and it is on my website, reviveholyyoga.com, and it's the playlist specifically for Holy Saturday. So go ahead and take a minute to pull that up, and once you do that, you can get comfortable and just any seated position on your mat that you just feel like you can be still for a few minutes while we just do our breath work and get started setting our intention for today. And if you haven't already, you can just go ahead and press play on your playlist, just starting from the beginning. And then whatever seated position you've taken, just go ahead and close your eyes and open your palms. And just open them so that the palms are open and easy. Just palms toward the ceiling. And just start to notice your breath. Just breathing easy to start. And then go ahead and take one hand over the heart and one hand over the stomach. And just as you exhale, letting the shoulders release. Just breathing easy where you are. And as you inhale and imagine you're sending all of that air into the hand over your heart. So just feeling that hand rise and fall on your exhale. And next, breathing into the hand over the stomach. Just filling the lungs. And exhale, let them fall. And take that again, breathing into the hand over the heart. Just breathing to fill the chest. Feeling the chest expand and then fall on the exhale. And again, into the hand over the stomach. And just continuing, alternating that breath pattern, or perhaps if you feel the need to just stay in one of those areas, just breathing deep. Just listen to your body and what it needs as we begin. Our scripture for today, for Holy Saturday, which is the day between Good Friday, the day we celebrate that Jesus died on the cross for us, and between Sunday, Easter Sunday, the day he rose from the dead. So this day where he was just dead and in the grave. And holding space for the heaviness of that and for the difficulty of that. So imagine now that you are one of Jesus's disciples, that you had walked with him these 3 years of ministry, that you had seen miracle after miracle. You had been in the presence of God in flesh. You were completely different because of how being around him and his presence had changed you than before you had met him. You believed he was God. And yet he died. You didn't know, as we know on this side of the cross, that he was going to rise the next day. And so holding space for this tension, this place of heaviness and of weight, of uncertainty, of fear, of doubt, unbelief, things that we all struggle with, things that the disciples surely felt on this first Holy Saturday. 1 John 2, verse 8. At the same time, it is a new commandment that I am writing you, which is true in him, Jesus, and in you, because the darkness is passing away and the true light is already shining. So to say that the darkness is passing away is acknowledging that we on this earth feel the weight and heaviness of darkness, of fear, of unbelief, of distance from people we love, of heartache, of disappointment, of rejection. And even though we know that the darkness is already passing away, we acknowledge that the true light is sweet because the darkness is passing. So just start talking with God about what feels heavy, what feels hard, like what's a struggle. And maybe this is for you today. This is very active, or perhaps this is a practice that you could store up in your heart for another season of your life when you might really be in a hard place. But we're going to just take this practice today, telling God, what is this darkness? What are you experiencing in this world right now? Perhaps where is it hard for you to see that God is good? Where is it just too thick to even believe that a resurrection is soon coming, that the light is already shining? And if you've let that breath become easy again, continue this conversation with God and just let that breath get deep again. As we get into these deep places of our being, of ourselves, that we may have stuffed for a long time, or are trying to stuff deep down, or maybe that we don't even know we're there. But these are the places that we're going to hold out with open hands before our God today. Because on this side of the resurrection, of this side of our time in history, we know what is coming. Go ahead and flutter those eyes open, and we're going to make our way slowly into a tabletop position. And just begin some easy cat-cows. You can leave the eyes closed if that feels good, or flutter them open. Inhaling, tailbone goes up, belly down, looking up. Exhale, round it out. Inhale into that cow again, looking up. Exhale, round it out. Finding a neutral spine, let's take that right foot back onto the toes on the ball of the foot, and just stretching through the calf back and forth a few times. And then keeping that right foot out, we're going to cross it over. So it's going to cross over to the left side, and just look back toward that foot, staying up on the ball and just stretching long. Then picking that up, we're going to lift that foot and crunch it over, so that right knee is going to come to the right elbow. And then cross it over again, looking out long on an inhale. And then exhale, pull it up, knee to right elbow. And take it long, just 2 more times in your own breath. And set that down. And we'll take 1 breath of cat-cow in between the left side Taking that left foot out now. Stretching back into that heel. And then when you're ready, cross it over to the right side and look back toward that foot. Staying high up on the ball of the foot. And then as you exhale, lift the leg and crunch it over to the left elbow. Inhale, takes it long. Exhale, find the elbow. And 2 more times in your own breath. And then set it down. And then we'll wag our tail here. So just letting the hips go side to side. You can really let them fall pretty heavy, keeping quite a bit of weight in the hands. And when you're ready, let's find stillness through a neutral spine and flip the toes and push up into our first downward facing dog of the day. Bending those knees deeply to begin and just checking in with the arms and with the back. Noticing where you're tight, where you're sore today, and just acknowledging it and breathing into those spaces. And you can begin to walk out that dog, one leg straight, one leg bent. Remembering to breathe, continue to push the hands into the mat. Once you've evened out this cycle of walking out that dog, let both heels get heavy and straighten the legs into a full downward facing dog. On your next inhale, come to the tips of the toes. Exhale, bend the knees and look forward, and we'll step into our forward fold at the top of the mat. And reaching across, just take the right hand to the left ankle. Pull the chest in, looking under the left armpit. Release, take it to the other side, grabbing the right ankle with the left hand now. Pulling the torso in. Release. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. And let's roll up one vertebrae at a time into our mountain pose. Inhale, arms overhead, palms come together, and we'll exhale the hands to prayer, thumbs over the heart, and close the eyes. Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to move, to be with you, to sit in the space between your death and your resurrection, Lord. Holding the things before you that we long to leave in the grave. Reaching out as ones who are resurrected with you. As ambassadors of the light, as you are of the light, as you are of the day, as you are of hope, Lord. Help us to hold space with this, with you today. We love you, Lord. It's in your name that we pray. Amen. Flutter the eyes open, and we'll inhale the arms overhead. Grabbing onto left hand, grabs the right wrist and reach up and over. Then as you exhale, just open those arms to a T. Left hand nice and heavy. And then we're going to roll it around. So this top arm is just going to come around down to a forward fold. And we'll pull up into a T, arms on the other side. Inhale it up. Now other side, so grab that left wrist, reaching up and over. Open those arms to a T, looking down to the mat. And the top arm's gonna curve around and get nice and heavy. And take the torso with it, pulling you up on the other side. Inhale, arms overhead. And we'll exhale, flat back forward. And we'll take a sun A here. Inhale, halfway lift. You can move with me, or if you're familiar with a sun A, you can move in your own breath. So plant the hands and step back into a high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. So the elbows will hug the ribs all the way down to the mat. Flip the toes and we'll push up on an inhale into cobra. Exhale, release. Flip the toes and find your way, however feels best to you today, into a downward facing dog. Inhale to the tips of the toes. Exhale, bend the knees and look forward. Step or hop the top of your mat in a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. And we'll reverse that swan dive, flat back all the way up to the top. As you exhale, grab the right wrist, take it over. Open it up to a T. And then again on an exhale, that top arm's gonna come around, taking the torso with it down to a forward fold and back up on the other side. Inhale it up. Exhale, grab the left wrist and take it over. Opening the arms into a T. Exhale takes you around again. Inhale it up. And we'll exhale, flat back forward again, taking that sun A, just repeating here. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulder blades moving toward the spine. Exhale, plant those hands, step or hop back to your plank. Option to take this vinyasa through, or you can go ahead and meet in downward facing dog. And in this downward facing dog, now we're gonna shift the weight into the left palm so you can lift the right. And then challenging your balance, reach back to grab the left ankle. Checking in with that left shoulder, pushing that left hand into the mat. Just keep nice alignment there. You can pull yourself under a bit if that feels nice. Plant the hand, take it to the other side now. So left hand reaches to the right ankle. Checking in with that right shoulder. Plant that left hand now. Just one cycle of breath here. Then your next inhale, come to the tips of your toes. Bend the knees and look forward. Step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. And let's reverse that swan dive one last time here. Taking this one time, and now that you know where we're going, I want you to take it in your own breath. Just warming up through all parts of the body. Exhale will take you all the way around. Peeling up onto the right side. Left side. So we'll grab the left wrist. Take it all the way around and open up on the left side. Inhale up. Last time. For now, flat back forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Step or hop back. And let's exhale all the way to our bellies. Now spread those feet, those legs a little bit wider than you normally would for your cobra. And let's push up ever so slightly. Maybe a little less than you normally would. So option to stay here, or you can kick this right foot up. And look over the left shoulder just to see if you can see those toes waving at you back there. Release. You can release all the way down if you'd like. Then inhale it back up, hands continuing to push into the mat. Option to stay here or to take that left heel up, looking over the right shoulder. Just loving on your back. Release. And then make your way into down dog. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and drop into a child's pose. Option here to stay in your traditional child's pose, or you can take a little thread the needle through and just take one arm underneath. If that's part of your practice, you're welcome to do that. And I'll give you a cue willing to switch sides if that's an option you're going to take. It is a new commandment I am writing to you, which is true in him, Jesus, and in you. Because the darkness is passing away and the true light is already shining. So tell yourself, a practice that we learned from David, to tell your own soul, and also tell God in prayer, God, the darkness is already passing. Lord, you say it is on its way out, and so it is. Whether that feels presently true for you or not, speak it over yourself and speak it back to God. It is true in Jesus and also in you, because the darkness is passing away and the true light is already shining. How is that sitting with you today? Just notice what thoughts or feelings this is bringing up. Whether they feel like the right ones or not, just notice them and speak them to God. Oh, I forgot to cue you to switch to that other side. Threading the needle through. Sorry about that. How about next time we take a child's pose, you can thread the other side. So if you're ready to come back into movement with us, we're just going to pull out of our child's pose and come into a forearm plank. So spreading the fingers wide, pushing the hands and the full length of the forearm into the mat. Belly button finds the spine. Shoulders melt away from the ears, even here. Option to take the knees down or leave them up, your choice. And again, another option to just work a little different musculature in the core here. We're going to take some hip dips, so you're welcome to drop down that right hip and try to drop the left now toward the center. So try to drop it right below your belly button, just alternating. One more on each side. And then when you're ready, we'll come up on to those hands and push up into our downward facing dog again. Belly button toward the spine here. When you're ready, we're going to move into our three-legged dog. So begin to shift the weight into the left heel and inhale that right heel high. You can open through the hip, letting those toes turn out, letting the foot drop toward the glutes, making some ankle circles and some hip circles as that feels nice. And when you're ready, inhale it high, toes toward the mat, heel toward the ceiling. And then exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, three-legged dog, heel high. Exhale, knee to the right tricep. Inhale it high. Then cross it, knee to the left shoulder. Inhale high. And then last time through center, we'll quietly set that foot down into a nice long lunge. Stretching here. And when you're ready, we're gonna set up a warrior two. So turning those toes out toward the left, get that pinky edge out of the foot nice and grounded. And when you're ready, we'll windmill up. Finding that warrior two, both hip points are shining toward the long edge of your mat. Looking out over those front fingertips. As you exhale, can you settle those hips a little bit lower? Then when you're ready, we're gonna find a forward side angle. So the right forearm finds the front quad, reaching up and over. Just focusing on opening through that right hip. And then taking a nice long line. So from heel all the way up the side of the body, through the hand, and a nice long line. And then on the inhale, we're gonna reverse the warrior. So leaving the lower body where it is, back hand finds the back leg, reaching up and over, or you can take a half bind if that's part of your practice. Exhale, forward side angle. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, forward side angle. Keeping those hips nice and low, just moving the torso, reverse. Make your way back into your warrior two. Now really planting through this left foot, we're going to find a little bounce off the front leg, pulling the inner thighs together, step in, reach arms overhead, grabbing the right wrist, and we're gonna reach up and over toward the back of your mat. And then as that carries you around, let it move you back into a nice long warrior two. Heel toeing out if you need to. Windmill around, frame the front foot. Step back into that high plank. Option to take the vinyasa through or meet in downward facing dog. Remembering to breathe here. And get ready to shift the weight to that right foot, letting that left heel get high. Opening through the hip. So turning out that foot, dropping the foot to the glutes. Taking some ankle circles, some hip circles. Just noticing that nice long stretch that even goes from the torso and through that left hip. Inhale it high when you're ready. And take those toes toward the mat, heel toward the ceiling. Then on your next exhale, pull that knee into the chest. Inhale it up. Knee to left tricep. Inhale it high. Exhale, knee to the right shoulder. Inhale it high. Last time, knee to chest. And quietly set it down. You can use the hand behind the calf to elongate, if that's helpful for you. Taking a nice breath to stretch here. Then set up that warrior two. Again, pinky edge side of the foot, nice and grounded. And then windmill up when you're ready. Checking in with the body here, just noticing what feels different on this side. Not as good or as bad, but just noticing. When you're ready, forward side angle. Keeping this arm, instead of going in front of the face, keep it up and over the ear. When you're ready on an inhale, push those feet into the mat to stay nice and steady, and we'll reverse. Hand to the back of leg, or you can take that half bind if that's part of your practice. Exhale, forward side angle. We'll do 2 more of these. Remembering to breathe. Then we'll find our warrior two. Get nice and strong, really focusing on this back foot. And when you're ready, we'll find a little bit of buoyancy in that front leg. And push back, pulling the legs together. Arms come up, grabbing the left hand, reaching up and over toward the back. And then as that comes around, step it nice and long into your warrior two again. Windmill the arms around, frame the front foot, and let's step it back. Exhale into that chaturanga. Inhale it back into that downward facing dog. Inhale to the tips of the toes. Exhale, bend the knees and look forward. And step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Keeping this forward fold. Shake the head yes. Shake it no. And yes again. And then bending the knees if necessary. Let's work those fingers, those hands toward the mat. And then walk the hands over to the left side. So just diagonal out to the left. Pulling that right hip back so it doesn't go with the upper body. Walking through center, taking those hands now to the right. Again, bending the knees if that feels good. And pushing that left hip back. And even if you can straighten your legs, actually go ahead and just bend the knees and just notice what that allows you to have, the change in the stretch in the torso, in that side body. Walk it over to the left one more time. Then back to the right. Making your way into center. Inhale, halfway lift. And release. And then go ahead and set up chair, so heel toe together, toes come together, have an inch of space between the heels, and when you're ready, we'll inhale up into chair. Belly buttons moving toward the spine. You can take those arms wherever. They can be up, here in prayer, taking it back. That's up to you. Dropping the tailbone. And release into forward fold. Walk those hands to the left. And then walk them to the right. And then coming back through center, on your next inhale, we're gonna make our way back into that chair. Just noticing here that you've got that inch of space between the heels, or between the knees and the heels. Option to stay here, or we're gonna shift the weight into the left foot, bringing up this right foot. You can even just test the balance here, or we can take a crouching tiger. So crossing right heel above the left knee. We'll set it down to a figure four chair. Breathing. Release, and we'll take it on the other side. So option again to just play with that one-legged chair, playing with the balance there, or to cross the left ankle over the right knee, flexing that foot to protect the knee and set it down. Set it down, and let's hold 3 more breaths in our chair here. Release into that forward fold. Shake the head yes. Shake it no, and shake it yes. And we're gonna move through this vinyasa again. So option to just make your way back into downward facing dog, or you can take our chaturanga, push up in the up dog, your choice here. But as you do that, and as we continue, I want you to hold in your mind in prayer with God. Again, this place of tension, of struggle, this place of need that you have right now before God. And ask him to show you, Lord, where are you in this? Where is your light in this? You say that while the darkness still persists here some, that it is passing away, actively passing away, and that the light is actively shining already into these places. Lord, give me eyes to see your light, even here, Lord. Option to process that a little bit more with God in stillness by dropping down to child's pose, or we're going to process that through some movement again, inhaling that right heel high. Your choice. Exhale that knee into the chest, stepping down into the long lunge. Setting up one last time on this side. Your warrior two, inhale it up. Exhale into that forward side angle. Inhale, reverse. Just taking this 2 more times in your own breath. Keeping the lower body rounded and stable while we move up top. You can just move it around, this time back into the warrior two. And we'll windmill it around. Optional vinyasa through, or meet straight and down dog. Inhale the left heel high. Exhale it through. And set up that warrior two. Your next inhale takes you up. Just one breath to settle in. Then your next exhale initiates that forward side angle. Reverse. Forward side angle. 2 more times through in your own breath. Just windmilling around. Frame the front foot. And we'll step it back. Exhale it through. One last up dog. Finding that downward dog. We'll inhale to the tips of our toes. Exhale, bend the knees and look forward. Step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. And flat back all the way up to the top of your mat. And exhale those hands to prayer. We're going to move into tree. So begin to shift the weight into the left foot, making sure those toes are pointed straight in front of you. And taking that right foot up. You can find any place on the leg for it to be, except the knee. That's the only place you don't want to have it. You can even take a nice little perch here and take this as an excellent tree, or even here. Just playing, it's your balance, it's your practice. Take the leg where it needs to be. I'm going to work on the bottom of this foot and this leg are pushing into each other. Standing tall. Option to stay here, or perhaps even to play around with closing the eyes. We're going to move into a tree in the wind. So you can take steeple hands. So it's like crossing all the fingers, holding hands, just the pinky or the pointer fingers stay together. And inhale up. And then exhale, lifting up and out of this standing hip. we're going to reach over and just stretch the side body while we balance. Lifting out of that left hip. Inhale it up. Take it to the right. Continuing to lift out of that hip, pushing the standing leg into the foot. Inhale it up. And if you took that tree in the wind, just exhale those hands. Prayer, playing with the balance. And when you're ready with control, we'll release. Shake out those feet. We'll take it to the other side. So toes straight in front of you. When you're ready, begin to lift this left foot. Again, taking whatever that position is for your practice today. Bottom of the foot and inner thigh come together. We're inside of that right leg. Lifting up and out of this hip. Option to take that steeple grip again and inhale up, where you can stay in your traditional chair. If we're going to take tree in the wind, bent tree here, we'll begin to fall away from that bent leg toward the standing leg. Inhale it up. Lifting up and out of the hip again. And then bending toward. This top shoulder is going to want to fall in, open it up. Inhale it up. Exhale the hands to prayer for one more breath. We'll release with control when you're ready. Shaking those legs out. And then when you're ready, we'll just fall forward into a forward fold again. Taking ragdoll here, grabbing opposite hand to opposite elbow. You can bend the knees deeply if that feels good. Just a matter of, if you straighten the legs, you're going to get quite a good stretch to the back of the legs. However, if you need to give a little more attention to the back, go ahead and bend the knees. It's not that one is better than the other. It's just that one has a little different focus than the other. Whatever you've chosen, just begin to sway side to side. Stretching through the different sides of the body. You gently sway. Slowly releasing those hands again to the mat. And when you're ready, we're just going to crouch down. So just let those hips find the heels. If it feels nice, you can just grab around the legs and just curl yourself into a ball, rounding through the back. And when you're ready, just go ahead and sit back on those hips. So we're going to take now the feet to, still pointing forward, but to each side of the mat. And then just let the knees fall as it would feel comfortable in the same direction. So I've got my knees falling to the left here. So now reaching this left hand pretty far back, I'm going to take a thread the needle through here. So threading my right arm under until I can find a nice, on a diagonal place to lay down my torso, my shoulder, and my head. And then walking that hand out. So if your hips or your knees or really any part of your body is not loving this, you are more than welcome to take child's pose and thread the needle through here. That is absolutely an option for you. Taking whatever variation of the pose feels best to your body. At the same time, it's a new commandment that I'm writing to you, which is true in Jesus and true in you. because the darkness is passing away and the true light is already shining. Isaiah 9:2. The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwelt in a land of deep darkness, on them a light has shone. Mark 2:17. And when Jesus heard it, he said to them, those who are well have no need of a doctor, but those who are sick. I came not to call the righteous, but sinners. Again from Isaiah 9:2, those who dwelt in a land of deep darkness, on them light has shone. How does this sit with you today? In light of this thing, this whatever it might be that you're bringing before Jesus today. How do these verses settle in your spirit? Let's go ahead and unwind wherever you are. So you've got the twist and the thread through just coming up onto those hands. Taking the legs out again, we'll take it now to the right side. Walking back these right fingertips so that the left can thread through. Just finding, walking those hands out, fingers out until it's comfortable enough to lay down on the torso and the shoulder. You're also welcome to grab a pillow and lay on that here. Since we'll be here for a good while, that will just allow you some space to breathe into it. Again, the option for a child's pose with the needle remains for you. So as our God says here, the light shines in the darkness on those who are unwell, on those who are in need of light. So looking at this thing, whatever it is, just acknowledge with God, is this something that you have been living in a place of need, that you're taking to him as need? Or is it a place that you're trying to hold together? As though you're not in a land of deep darkness, as though you are not unwell in need of a doctor. And then consider in this same situation again, is this something that you have shared with other people in your life? Is this a thing that you've taken to a friend, another believer, and said, this is hard. In some days I can't see light here. Please help me put light on this. Help me put truth on this. Pray with me about this. And if that's not something you've done in this specific area, just confess that to God and perhaps ask him what has been stopping you from that. wherever you are, go ahead and unwind. Scoot those hips to the very top of the mat and pull the knees into the chest, sitting up nice and tall. An option now to make your way onto the back of your mat, however you would prefer. So taking that rock and roll as we often do, with a nice little balance. Just letting the mat massage up and down the spine. Until you're ready, just slowing that down to find stillness on the mat. When you're ready, we'll open up into happy baby. It's just taking those feet up, flexing the feet. You can take peace fingers in between the toes, or my preference is just to grab around the pinky edge side of my foot. So whatever your preference is here, and opening wide. So a little active pull, pulling those feet down, maybe toward the hips slightly, slight rocking back and forth. So considering again before God, whatever this space is for you, ask him and talk with him. Are you holding this space as though you're still in Holy Saturday, or as though the resurrection has already come? Are you living as though the darkness is not passing away, forgetting, as the disciples didn't know, that the next day their Lord would rise, that the light was coming? Coming out of that happy baby, go ahead and make your way into a corpse pose. Just settling in as you're ready. And now our last song on the playlist should be starting here soon. And for Holy Saturday, we're just going to take a different way in this here, and letting the song perhaps lead some words for us that we feel and maybe don't want to say or have a hard time saying to God. And disclaimer, there is an explicit word in that, so just heads up, that very much is a song about Jesus. And I just want to encourage you to stay in stillness with God through these words, through this time, and cry out to him in this. Listening past the long pause in the song to God's response. The first part being our words to God, and the second, his to us. The light that is already shining. And if that song is not already there, you're welcome to go ahead and turn to the last song, which is a prayer. Or if you're already there, go ahead and continue in your Savasana, just closing your eyes, opening the palms, and just making this a place with you and God. Now, if you'd like to stay in this place of stillness with God, please do. However, if you're ready to bring some movement back to the body, you can begin by wiggling your fingers and toes. Just gently let those movements get larger until you find yourself on your right side, using your right bicep as a pillow. And then pushing up onto those hands and forearms. Just make your way to the top of your mat in a comfortable seated position. Inhale those arms overhead. Exhale the hands to prayer, thumbs over the heart. Lord, I thank you that you are the God who can handle our darkness, can handle the mess that we've made. That you willingly came down into it. That you willingly chose every second of the way to walk through your passion and to hang on the cross for us, to die there for us, so that the darkness would pass, that it would die, that it would stay in your grave, and that you would raise to new life, and that you would bring us with you. Lord, we believe, help our unbelief, that this is at work in you and also in us, that the darkness is passing and the light is already shining. Lord, help us to hold the space of this already but not yet, this space of Holy Saturday. Lord, prepare our hearts to worship you on Easter Sunday tomorrow, to celebrate your resurrection with joy and with hope, continuing to hold these things out to you, because the light is already shining. Thank you, Jesus. It is in your good and in your holy and beautiful resurrected name that we pray. Amen. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. It was just a good gift to worship with you and to move with you. And I want to let you know we'll be here again on the same Zoom link or YouTube page on Thursday at 1:30 Eastern and Saturday again at 1:30 Eastern. And I'd love to see you again and worship with you some more. So I run my classes through donation, so you're welcome to put a donation to my Venmo, which is Megan Holy Yoga, or at the GoFundMe link on my website, which is reviveholyyogastudio.com. So that's an option for you, but I know the global pandemic has caused a lot of financial strain on so many people. So if you are not able to donate, please continue coming and just don't stress about that. But just consider with God maybe how he's asking you to be generous in another way, perhaps with your time, or with your prayers, the way that you might be sharing the gospel and just loving on the people around you and your neighbors, the people that you live with, whoever that might be. So ask God what he might have for you there. Be expectant to hear that it would be something really sweet and generous nonetheless. So thank you guys. I look forward to moving again with you soon.